The silence in his house had a different quality now. It wasn't empty, it was full. It was no longer the hollow echo of a life put on pause, but a quiet space, humming with new possibilities. Leo sat in his favorite armchair, a book open on his lap, but his gaze was fixed on the garden, lost in thought. For 40 years, his world had been defined by a single, profound love. His late wife Clara had been his compass, his joy, his everything. After she was gone, the colors of his life had muted to a permanent, respectful gray. He was a man defined by his past, a curator of a beautiful museum with only one exhibit. A few months ago, a well-meaning friend had convinced him to participate in a social group for people of a certain age. It was framed as a way to get out, to have dinner with new people. He'd agreed, expecting little more than pleasant conversation and a break from the four walls of his home. What he found was a revelation. He had expected a room full of echoes of his own grief, a gathering of people simply waiting. Instead, he found a vibrant current of life. He met a woman, Alara, a retired architect who was now learning to sculpt. He met Margaret, a former librarian who had just returned from a solo hiking trip in the Scottish Highlands. He met a dozen others, each with a story, not of an ending, but of a new, unexpected chapter. His perspective, once fixed firmly on the rear-view mirror, was forcibly wrenched to the windshield. He had carried an unexamined notion, a quiet, paternalistic protectiveness towards women his own age. He saw them as perhaps a little fragile, their best years behind them, their stories largely written. He was so wrong. These women were not fragile. They were formidable. They had navigated loss, raised families, built careers, and were now, with a fierce and beautiful energy, building new versions of themselves. They weren't looking for someone to complete them. They were complete. They were looking for companionship, for a fellow traveler on this new, uncharted road. Alara, in particular, had dismantled his assumptions with a gentle, unwavering grace. Over coffee, she hadn't talked about the past with sorrow, but with the historian's fondness. She spoke of the future with the excitement of an explorer. She was designing a new studio in her garden, her hands sketching the plans in the air between them, her eyes alight with possibility. Being in her presence and in the presence of the other women he met didn't make him miss Clara less. It did something else entirely. It expanded his understanding of what a life could hold. Grief and joy were not mutually exclusive. They could coexist. Honoring a past love did not require shutting the door on the future.